We got to do some collision checking first to see if we're going to run into other blocks when we go left or right. You notice we went right on through those blocks. So we need to check to see if we're going to hit anything. So right after I go left or right, I should probably check to see if I have actually run into anything, and if I have, I should move back to where I was before. So what I'm going to need to do is go through every one of my blocks, block 1, 2, 3, and 4, and check to see if I've actually run into anything. If I have, then I've collided, and I should return that, hey, you hit something. And if not, then I'll just return, maybe I'll just return true or false as to whether I've collided. Let's see, down here, right before create Tetris shape, I think I'll create a function that will return a Boolean, a true or false value. We'll see if I've collided with something. So the thing I'm going to return is collided, which will start by default as false. Then we'll use our built-in collision checking, where you pass in which thing that you want to check for. So we'll see if block 1 returns something. It'll return -1 if there's no collision, and it'll return a different ID number if it has. So if I ever get back anything that's not -1, that means I've hit something from any of the blocks. So the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to say if it's not equal to -1, exclamation point is not. So if that is not equal to -1, and if that happens, I'm going to set collided to true. And when I'm all done, I can return whatever collided still is. Now that's for one block. What if I want to do others? So if any of them hit, I am going to want to set collided equal to true. So I'm going to use an OR statement. It's the vertical bar. On most keyboards, it's just above the Enter key. That means OR if you put two of them next to each other. So we're going to check to see if there's a collision with block 2 as well. Or, I bet you can tell what's coming, if there's a collision with block 3, if it's not equal to -1, or if there's a collision with block 4, that's not equal to -1. So if any of those conditions occur, if any of the 4 blocks hit, that means that we're going to set this collided to true. And where we're going to use that is when we're trying to move. So if we move to the left and we find out there's a collision, then we should move back and just basically not be able to move into that spot. We'll have something slightly different when we go down and eventually have to change the shape of our blocks. Well, we'll have to basically change them into solids and then choose a new shape up at the top. But for the left, let's see with shape collision. If that's true, then we hit something and we should move back. So moving back would just be moving back 20 in our case. So let's see if we can run into the left side. Nope. We can still go through the right, so let's fix the right side. So if we check for a collision on this side, then we'll move back in the -20 direction. How about moving down? So moving down, if we run into blocks, we need to change them into basically static blocks and then create a new shape. Static blocks are a little different from the base blocks. That's how we're going to be able to tell if we've ended the game or not. So we're going to need to make sure that we add some kind of class tag to our blocks when we create them to show that they are not static. So down here, after we've created our shape, we should probably add a class tag to them. So block 1 is a moving shape, and so are block 2, 3, and 4. So block 2, 3, 4. Now if we run into the bottom, which is when we go down, we need to check for collisions again, but if we collide, rather than just moving back, we need to change into static, and then we're going to create a new shape. So we're going to check for a shape collision. If this is the case, we are going to move back, so back 20 in the y direction. And then we're going to change all the class tags to be static instead. I'm just using this as a way to be able to tell that, indeed, this is one of the non-moving blocks as opposed to the ones that are allowed to move. And then, I suppose, we just create a new shape. Go back down, and a new shape. Excellent. So that's great for a little while, but now we need to be able to actually make it so that it moves down the screen. So I need something to keep track of how fast the blocks are moving and actually make them all move at a regular pattern. So I'm actually going to add another object to the top, which is going to be a controller object. His job is to just take care of gameplay things, such as moving all the blocks down when I need to. So the controller is going to be a new game object. I'm just going to place it off the screen for now. I will be using this for checking for completed lines later, and I might actually just use this shape itself, so I'm going to just make it the same as all the other blocks, so that I can use it for collision detection later on when I'm actually checking for completed lines. The other thing this is going to do is it's going to set an alarm. So an alarm, you set a certain number of milliseconds into the future, and then the alarm event is going to go off. Well, how far into the future should we make it? Well, let's create a variable, and we can mess with that and see what kind of speed we like. I guess I'll set this to a second for now, which is 1,000 milliseconds, and we'll see how that goes. So once this alarm goes off, the alarm event is going to fire. Aha! Now the alarm event fires for all game objects, so we need to check to see if this is actually the controller before we actually move things down. So here, if alarm object is a controller, so this is the automated movement down. This is the thing that makes this a game. So we're going to have it move all the blocks down 20. And really, this is just going to be exactly the same as when we move down normally. So we're going to check to see if we've hit anything. So if check shape collision is true, and we move back in the -20 in the y. We're going to change all the class tags again. You know what? Why am I typing all this? These things happen. Oh, that's why, because it doesn't tab it over nicely. Those things happen. The other thing I do have to do, though, is at the end, is I need to reset the alarm. So I need to say controller.set alarm to game speed. I just realized I'm going to want to do that up here as well. So if I move down and I actually hit something, I'm going to want to set the alarm again. just in case, so that I'm not halfway through a movement and it resets the alarm. There we go. Looks like it's moving down nicely. Oh my goodness, it's beginning to feel like Tetris. Beautiful.